What is happening, sports fans? It's your main man, Matt, from the DFS 5-pack. I'm rocking it solo. It is Tuesday, April 12th. We got 9 MLB games to talk over. I just dropped the members-only video. I'm going to make a public video for everyone to see. If you want that members-only content, go check out the DFS 5-pack. We'd love to have you. Before I hop into the baseball, I'm going to shout out our promoter real quick. ABC Islands. The link in the promo code will be in the description section. I know a bunch of people have checked them out and have really liked it so far. So as I've mentioned, DFS Patriot and I will be back on here sooner rather than later, making more betting content, making more baseball content, hopefully making some NBA playoff content. In the meantime, though, we got 5 games to talk. We got 9 games to talk over tonight. 5 guys I'm going to mention, 1 pitcher and 4 bats. Without further ado, let's hop into it. So pitching options, as I mentioned on the members only video, are pretty messy. Don't feel great about anyone except for Darvish here. It's not a great spot for Darvish, so you don't get really the warm and fuzzies with anyone on this slate, but Darvish is the closest, I think, to giving you that feeling. Was very good in his season debut against Arizona. Not a ton of Ks, only 3 strikeouts, walked 4, but didn't allow any hits. And the big thing for me is he threw 92 pitches. So in a start to the season where we've seen a lot of starters be limited due to a shortened spring, Darvish looks right on track. I doubt there's any pitch concerns here. If he's not pitching well, I'm sure he doesn't go that deep into the game, but if he's not pitching well, you probably don't want him anyways. So it's not a great spot, but given the options on this slate, given how effective he was in his season debut, I think Darvish is the top option in all formats here. If I were making lineup or like a single entry GPP lineup, he'd be in it. Let's talk some bats. So I think a guy you can look at as a filler cog type in all formats is going to be Connor Joe. Really nice start to the season. Has been very good against left-handed pitching. Gets a nice spot and a great ballpark tonight against Martin Perez. I imagine he gets love here, being both first base and outfield eligible, and he makes sense. This is a guy, if I were playing a cash game, I would definitely use. If I'm stacking the Rockies, I'd definitely use him. And I have no issues using him as a one-off, a cheap one-off at that, if you're stacking another team. He'll be popular, but I don't think he gets overwhelming love considering it's a 9-game slate, bunch of options all over. He looks like one of the best filler bats on the entire slate. All right, moving on down to a third baseman I like in tournaments, that's going to be Alex Bregman. So has started 3 games this year, double-digit DK points in every single one of those games. I expect a big bounce back from Bregman. It looks like people are sleeping on Houston a tad to start the season, and I'm buying all the Astros. Again, is notoriously good against left-handed pitching. There's some really good third base options on this slate. So I don't think Bregman gets a ton of love. And at 4,500, he's just too cheap for his power upside. I like him a lot in a Houston stack and or as a one-off. All right, let's talk about probably the highest owned hitter on the slate, a guy you can plug in next to Connor Joe in cash games. That's going to be Marcelo Zuna. He's just way too cheap. No reason for him to ever be under 4K, especially in a spot like this at home against mediocre lefty at this point in Patrick Corbin. Great spot for Ozuna, great ballpark. The Braves are getting a lot of love. It makes sense. Ozuna stands out as probably the top dollar for dollar piece at 3,800. Just a lot to like about him in cash games and a risky fade in tournaments given his upside. Speaking of tournaments, a guy I like a lot is going to be Cody Bellinger. So this guy's had quite a roller coaster of a career so far, has had serious ups winning the MVP and has had big downs as he was quite awful all of last year. Coming off a nice game his last time out, walked and had 2 singles, scored 10 points. I like that. I like that as a launching pad for Bellinger to potentially have a nice hot streak here. Gets a good matchup with Chris Archer. He's only 2,900. So again, I like the Dodgers quite a bit tonight. I think they're in a good spot against Archer. Bellinger will probably be in the lower half of this lineup. Might cut his ownership, which just makes me like him more. This is a guy, he's just way too cheap for his upside. And he's not getting a ton of love. I imagine he gets 5 to 10%, which is quite literally nothing as far as I'm concerned, especially in a really good spot against Archer, hitting in a lineup that I have a ton of interest in. So I like Bellinger a lot in tournaments. Will I be surprised if he's 15% owned? No. But I also won't be surprised if he's 3% owned. And either way, doesn't really matter. I like him quite a bit here. Again, I think he works well in a wraparound Dodger stack that is in the order. Don't mind him as a one-off either at this price point. He's got big power upside at 2,900. This is a guy that if he homered twice on any given night, no one would be surprised. And he's under 3K. So let that sit in. He's one of my favorite tournament bats on the slate. That's all I got for you guys. If you want more content, more videos, more me, go check out the DFS 5-pack. We'd love to have you. I appreciate you guys as always. If you have any questions, holler at me, and I will catch you guys on the flip side tomorrow.